second fixed order of the day is from our moderator. You'll remember that that she was present at the previous Presbytery meeting where we had the election of the new standing committee, and I'm very happy to welcome the Reverend Denise Liersch back today, and she's going to talk about a very relevant topic for our the time of COVID-19, mental health of ministers and leaders. So I'll introduce our moderator to you.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, and it was not just the standing committee, it was commissioning you as chair as well, of course, sorry. Yeah. Look, just listening to the words that were in your prayers as we gathered together for this meeting, I'm not going to be speaking about anything that you don't already know. I heard so many words of tiredness being spoken. Tiredness and sadness and longing, aching for things to be perhaps different to what they are. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad to be able to come and talk with you, is to speak to that question, because so often we're suppressing that, trying to be ministers and ministry agents and leaders for others, standing for them and serving them. And what I'm hearing from so many people is a sense of tiredness, and it's kind of across the church. I'm hearing this from ministers and ministry agents, but also from presbytery leaders, from Elm staff, from Synod staff, from Uniting staff, from Congress, from Uniting Age Well, board members of various institutions and organisations, our schools, U Ethical. All sorts of people are finding that finding our way through these times is bringing with it a sense of tiredness. And there's a whole heap of reasons why that's the case, I guess, and we might come to that a little bit later on. But I think one of the things that can be really helpful for us is that when we name this and acknowledge it and become more open about the reality of the tiredness that we're feeling, it can help us to be more aware of the support that we offer each other, and to be able to be more gracious with each other and with ourselves as well, and to look at what we might need in order to replenish our spirits. I'm hearing even terms a little bit like from some people, things like it's becoming difficult to maintain the facade of strength and positivity. And it makes me think of that ad on television for Codral, cold and flu tablets, of soldiering on. And I'm not sure that that's the ministry that we're called to. This all, of course, is alongside all of that surprise that we're finding about connections and creativity and innovations and new ways of gathering together that really do quite take us by surprise as the Spirit of God is at work amongst us. But yeah, alongside this, lots of stories of sadness, a kind of a desperateness to hug and to hold, and the toll that it's taking on us. I guess I'm aware that this may go beyond, for some of us, just simple tiredness. And it can become not just a going through the motions and a loss of energy, but perhaps even become a much more significant depression or anxiety, or perhaps with mental health issues from the past becoming, that were otherwise well managed, becoming now no longer so well managed. And we need to seek and encourage each other and notice the signs in each other to seek much more significant and professional support. I'm aware of a number of things as well that people are talking about, things like not taking leave, or people feeling they can't take leave, having had leave and then cancelling it, cancelling long service leave, not taking study leave, but also finding that that's just so busy that not taking the time for normal prayer life and spiritual practices that what nourish us and the communities that we serve in our ministry. And there can be a kind of a pressure to do so much that we feel that we can't do these things, as if they're just something for ourselves and we need to be non-selfish and just continue to serve others. I guess there's also awareness that depending on our culture, there are cultural pressures either to be stoic or keep up the stiff upper lip, or perhaps to not be able to, perhaps particularly as a male minister, to be able to acknowledge any weakness. And so that difficulty in being open about our needs for support from others can undo us. I think I'm hearing as well that the constant need for needing to be creative and innovative and to constantly reflect on the changing circumstances and how we're adapting also takes its toll. And there's something about meeting in a virtual way that makes so much of what would be the signs to others invisible, so we can feel that we're bearing this load without anybody knowing or seeing. And whereas in a normal meeting situation or gathering or meeting up for a cuppa situation, the little kind of signs that we recognise in another person that make us think, are they going okay? Are you going okay? We don't notice so easily in a Zoom meeting. We don't see each other's facial expressions. We don't notice how we are or aren't engaging in the way that we normally would. And so it takes from us something extra and something more and a little bit more attention. And I know that there's a lot that many presbyteries are doing, including this presbytery, of having collegial groups and meeting more often, frequently, because it's kind of easier to by Zoom, for instance. Having collegial gatherings, professional supervision, of course, and keeping that up keeps us on track and has that additional kind of person who's looking in, checking in and looking out for us and holding us to account. We have new or exit minister placement, people in brand new placements, specific gatherings to be able to share those experiences, called minister gatherings. And we have a lot of collaboration, I'm aware, is arising where ministers and congregations are realising we don't have to do everything every week all the time alone, but we can roster out, if you like, and share and collaborate with neighbouring congregations or ministers or ministry leaders and share the load somewhat to give a chance to have time out when we need it. Partnering and mentoring. Bethel is doing wellbeing checks and is available to be able to check in ways that would not have been available to us before. And so I guess the question for me is, if you were to perhaps step back just a little bit now, what are the things that you are noticing that are the signs that in yourself or in other colleagues or people in ministry leadership positions in your churches and communities that need more attention or attentiveness? And what is it that you need for resilience and refreshment and replenishment? What are the spiritual practices that maybe you've been letting go of that need to be held to much more frequently and more regularly? And what are you noticing in each other? And perhaps what are some trends or insights that you think might be at play that may either be assisting or creating difficulties for us as communities? Like, for instance, our expectations that we need to keep on performing at a very high level and do it all. How much space for grace we have with each other.